Hi, so here we are again with another video. This time I'm gonna look at one of my favorite topics, so that's compatibility. And whose compatibility? Well, one of the cutest models. It's a Victoria's Secret model with the cutest dimples, and she's Australian. If you haven't guessed, it's Miranda Kerr. And we're going to look at her compatibility with her first husband, Orlando Bloom, and with her current husband, the Snapchat founder, Ivan Spiegel. So let's get to it. Okay, first, if you didn't know who Miranda Kerr was, I'm just going to share my screen so you can see. This is Miranda Kerr. And now I want to share her chart. So, with Miranda Kerr, it's interesting because she says she's born at 10 after 1, but if we move the time 2 minutes earlier, the Lagna changes, the Ascendant changes from Leo to Cancer. And I was thinking about that. I was like, what if she's like a Cancer Lagna, because she has Moon in Cancer, which is great, and it would make sense. But then if she had Moon in Cancer in the Ascendant, then she would have Venus and Rahu in the 12th and Mars and Mercury in the 11th. And you can see here that Venus is in Gemini and Mercury is in Taurus, so they would have this interchange yoga. And in the 12th house, it's called the Danya yoga, misery yoga. So a lot of loss and things like that. But since, I mean, she's been very successful her whole life, she's worth millions of dollars from modeling. And so I think she has the Maha Yoga, which is like the positive interchange of the 10th Lord with the 11th Lord. Like, basically, said about people with Maha Yoga that like they can do whatever they want. So that's great, I think. Let's look at the Jaimini screen. Okay, so just a little bit like before we go to the compatibility screen, because we're going to look at the cards. Her soul planet is the Sun, and her spouse planet is Saturn. Okay. So the Sun is in the 9th, in a trine, and the spouse planet is in the 4th in Scorpio. In the Navamsha, she has the spouse planet Saturn with a natural manifestor for her husband, which is Jupiter, which is exalted, so great. But yeah, I mean, Saturn is not doing so great since it's in like in enemy signs here. Yeah, in a great enemy sign, even in the Rashi and in the Navamsha, also in a great enemy sign. But Jupiter seems to compensate because it's in its own sign in the Rashi, and in the Navamsha it's exalted. So like, I guess she will have things that she will like very much about her husband, and there will be one thing that she really hates about him. Let's see the Saptamsha. What's Saturn's dignity here? Okay, Saturn's in a neutral sign because like Venus, Taurus Lord, is the natural friend sign, but because of its positioning here, it's in a temporary enemy sign, and so that makes it neutral. Jupiter is in Aquarius, in the friend sign. So yeah, Jupiter is doing better than Saturn in all the 3 relevant charts for the spouse. Okay, so before we look at her cards, let's look at her relationship capacity. So for a woman, we look at her 4th cusp. Unfortunately, like, she has Saturn in the 4th cusp. That's not so great because the 4th cusp is the cusp of happiness, and it's very important for the feminine energy not to have malefics there, like Saturn. Like there's this yoga called Kapata, deceit yoga, which makes a malefic there, especially Saturn or Rahu, like making the person deceitful, deceiving themselves and then other people. But let's look at yoga judgment. Well, for her, like Saturn is good and evil qualities are equal, so I don't think it's so bad in her case. Okay, then let's look at her moon. Her moon is great being in Cancer, but there being in a Dushtana house, it's a bit, I mean, any planet in the Dushtana house is not so happy because Dushtana houses, the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th, no, I'm sorry, those are the Moksha houses, are like the Dushtana houses are the 6th, the 8th, and the 12th. But it's interesting like how Dushtana houses and Moksha houses like overlap for the 8th and the 12th house, because like breaks and like loss can also be a spiritual thing, like a push towards Moksha, right? So anyway, as I was saying, moon is in Pushya Nakshatra in Cancer. That's great. It's moon's own sign. So she gets points from here. And then let's look at the Ascendant. The Ascendant is in Leo. The Ascendant Lord is in the 9th house. It's in a trine. That's very nice. No planets bothering her here. Okay, now let's look at her cards. She's an ace of diamonds, like yours truly. So one more reason to like her. So let's look. She has the Lagna in the Queen of Diamonds card. That's the best card for the Ace of Diamonds because it's the highest card in the Ace suit. Let's see what else she has here. Her moon is also great because even though like the moon likes even cards on it, like 2s, 4s, 6s, and here it's a 5, right? So a 5 of hearts is like indicative of emotional crisis. However, since the moon is in the moon card, like the emotional crisis that she gets, she makes sense of them, right? She learns from them, so that's great. And also like 5s are a money card. 5 is Jupiter's number, and that's why 5s are a financial card. So what she what she may lose emotionally, she may gain financially. And this is a big generalization, but I just wanted to say that. Okay, so we checked the Lagna, the moon, and the 4th cusp is here, like I said. Okay, and the sun also shows up here because the Mars card shows the signs of Mars, so Aries and Scorpio, and the Sun and Saturn share a lordship, so they are both under Mars's thumb in this case. So yeah, I mean, Sun and Saturn together, they tend to make one more narcissistic, but it's not so bad since it's since it's like shared lordship, and also in a female's chart it's less bad than in a male's chart. And like even like for her job, for a model, like she needs a little dose of narcissism to get her through the day, right? Okay, so what else? Yeah, this Mars card is a great Mars card because 3 is the manifested number of Mars. The 3 of clubs is the independent thinker. I really haven't read details about her personal life other than she was married twice and she has a child and she's a model. But yeah, she's an independent thinker. Like, I think also like her parents, um, she has her parents' imprint on her personality because it's the fourth cusp of mother and the ninth of the father. And also like her Dara Karaka Saturn is here. Saturn is a separating factor. So yeah, I think she will get into like some strong disagreements with her husband since it's in this card. Let's see where Mars is. Not a happy card because yeah, Ace of Diamond people have their Venus card. So Venus shows what you are fulfilled with, and they are fulfilled with Seven of Clubs. That's like letting go of ideas, but not like letting go easily. It's like letting go after some sort of breakdown and crisis, because in tarot the black sevens are the falling tower. So yeah, and also she has, like, besides Mars, she has Pluto here, and Pluto is like the great purifier. It's great for it to be in a seven because like pushes with the process of letting go, but it's still a bit painful. So like relationships for her are like really, they help her understand things about herself, like with all Aces of Diamonds people. And she also has the 10th cusp here, and the third cusp is of siblings, of teamwork. I know she has a brother, and it's also teamwork. I guess modeling is also teamwork, and it's also like it has a Mars quality to it. And the 10th cusp, yeah, it makes sense that the 10th cusp is in a Venus sign for her being a model and all. And yeah, her ecliptic card, as for all people with this birth card, is a 9 of Diamonds. So we're gonna look at the K2 card and K2 the planet. The K2 card is a Jack of Clubs, so always like coming up with new ideas. And the K2 is in the 9 of Hearts. This is a bit of a like difficult placement for the Jupiter card, because Jupiter can also be the husband. So with the 9 of Hearts, the 9 of Hearts is a divine love, and Ace of Diamonds people are tempted to put like women, they will tend to put their men on a pedestal, or their teacher, or their children, because those are all Jupiterian things. Like she even has the 5th cusp of children here. So yeah, she will tend to idolize them, and I mean idolize them and then be disappointed, because the human love will never be divine love. So yeah, they have to learn to make the difference between that and like love and accept her partner with his flaws. And okay, oh, and last but not least, I want to mention that like she has Venus with Rahu. That's not a combination that's very supportive for marriage, because yeah, it brings a lot of relationships in one's life. For women, yeah, it said that it delays relationship. Well, she is like 34 and she is married the second time, so yeah. And okay, let's see her first husband, Orlando Bloom. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was sharing the screen or I wasn't talking from the walls. Okay, Orlando Bloom. Okay, Orlando Bloom, he's an Ace of Spades. So I'm just gonna do this so we can look at both charts and compare them side by side. Yeah. So aces, two aces, they should be compatible. One is diamonds, one is spades. Spades and diamonds are pretty compatible, but not as compatible as spades and hearts or diamonds and clubs, you know. So I mean, it's okay as birth card to birth card. Then I want to look at the ecliptic, the path they're on, because that's important. Orlando is more on the path of like emotional fulfillment, and Miranda is on the path of like being a channel of abundance, giving and receiving abundance from the world. They're both red cards. I mean, 6 and 9s are compatible as numbers, but since they are the same color, they would tend to be like both like the feminine, more feminine energy, so they're like more passive. So yeah, they're not, I mean, they're okay, they're not bad, but they're not great. Okay, but let's see Orlando's male capacity. Let's look at his 10th cusp, let's look at his ascendant, let's look at his sun and sun card. His 10th cusp is in Jupiter, and Jupiter is is a 9. So yeah, Miranda and himself, they both have a 9 under Jupiter, so they're both like more idealistic in terms of Jupiterian things. But Orlando, like the 9 of clubs, is more like intellectually oriented, and he's more like hermit type, because the black 9s are like the hermit card in tarot. So yeah, I can see here a difference, and as I said, like hearts and clubs don't have the ideal compatibility, you know. Let's see the other factors. The sun card is a 7 of hearts. That's a pretty tough sun card. That means like his kingdom keeps getting destroyed because the red 7s are like the death cards. And also it has like the 7th cusp and Saturn in it, so it's a pretty tough card. I mean, Saturn likes the 7 because that's the number it manifests, but it's still a tough card, and with the 7th cusp, you know. And let's look at the sun. The sun is in 2 of hearts, Saturn card. So yeah, but Saturn is here. So I know that if you have a bad card like this, like an even number under a malefic, not a malefic necessarily, like under Mars, Jupiter, or Saturn, then it's considered a bad card. But then we look at the Lord, and if the Lord is also in a bad placement, it can cancel it out. But no card under the sun is like a bad placement. But being like the 7, I would consider that's like it's partially cancelled out, right? So the sun is, let's say it's okay, it's like delighted a bit because it's with Mars, and like it also has Mercury there, but it's also starved by being in the Saturn card. So yeah, but we can already see that like relationships are a big part of their makeup, their internal frame of the Ace of Spades. And let's see what else. That we looked at the 10th cusp, we look at the sun card. Okay, now let's look a bit card by card. Okay, the sun, their goals, their individuality. Oh, I wanted to see the Characarakas for Orlando. Okay, so his Atmakaraka is the sun, same as Miranda, so they were both suns. Maybe they were shining too bright to be in the same household. I'm just kidding, like I'm sure there are people who have the same sun, soul planet, and get along. But still, it was an interesting thing to observe. And then we look at his dark arca. It's the moon, and yeah, she has a strong moon in Cancer. Let's see. Okay, the sun cards are not compatible. The queens and sevens not so great also, because it's diamonds and hearts, and they're both more passive in their approach. The sun as planet, hers is in this independent thinking card, but yeah, with the Saturn and Sun here, maybe, I mean, this would be like a great like teamwork card, but with this Sun and Saturn hampering, maybe it's not such a great teamwork. So she can be like more rebellious, maybe, but not with her. I mean, she seems to have a great relationship with her mother, from what I've seen, like on social media. And let's see, and his sun is here. 2s and 3s, they're sequential numbers, so I mean they would learn from one another, but I mean, still, like, he is more like sentimental, and I mean, with his, by manifesting his individual spark, and she is more clubby, right? Let's look at the moon, at like their day-to-day lives and moods and needs, and nourishing their needs. Well, they're both tough cards, so, but for her it's cancelled to some extent, and I mean, she made sense of it. Let's see where is his moon? His moon is also, yeah, his is also cancelled, because the moon card is in a bad card. No, it's not cancelled, because, okay, so this should be like a 2 in order for it to be cancelled. So yeah, it's a bad moon card, also with the 6 cusp, not very enviable. So like, he really didn't get like the nourishment he needed while growing up. He tried a lot of things. I mean, in order to get meeting his needs, he has to try a lot of things. Like the 7 of diamonds is like trying 100 things and 99 failing and 1 working. So it was tough. It was not easy. This is a good Mars card, because it's an odd number in the Mars card, a 5. He has moon in Scorpio. As we see, she's got moon in Cancer, and these 2 signs they have Vasya in Kuta, so they're like magnetically attracted to each other, so we can see how they got together. Let's see where his, and also, like, she has a moon in a 5 and he has a moon in a 5, and hearts are very compatible with spades, so we can see how like they could relate with the way they were like adapting to the world and like getting nourished. Even if it was more difficult, we can see this similar process for them. Yeah, he's got moon with K2. I'm not sure if it's like conjunct or by shared lordship. I think it's shared lordship, but anyway, for a man it's not so difficult. It's more difficult for a woman. So yeah, 8th cusp in the Mars card with K2, I would think he would have some good luck, maybe with land or with other people's money, real estate, something like that. Okay, let's look at the Mercury card. He's got a great Mercury card. Jack of Hearts is like a new attitude, a new feeling that's long-lasting. And in the Mercury card, it should be related to mercurial things like friends and managing your life. And in his case, it's like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th cusp, like siblings, home, mother, and kids, or creativity. So like that's a good card to have for the Ace of spades, and his Mercury planet is here, so it's a bit not so great. Here it's agitated by the sun, and then this like destroyed emotional comfort card, you know. So yeah, so this new attitude will always like be related to his emotional comfort being trashed a bit. So hearts and hearts for Mercury. Let's see in her case, she's got a three of spades, which is like not an ideal card on the Mercury placement, and her planet is like, yeah, so black cards. Yeah, I mean their Mercury compatibility is okay because Jack is encompassing the three, and yeah, twos and sevens are not so great together, but heart and clubs is so. I mean it's okay. I mean so far it's okay. It's not bad. Okay, let's see the Venus. No, the Jupiter. We talked about Jupiter a bit, so yeah, they both have Jupiter in the Jupiter card. No, they don't. Like he has Jupiter in the Venus card. So another 9. So he's very 9 Jupiter strong. And I think yeah, it would, yeah, I mean they would be compatible in the way they raise their child. But you know what I don't see so far? Like I don't see the same card, because Ern says in his compatibility class it's good to have like the opposite, diamonds have clubs and hearts have spades, but it's also good to have the same suit with somebody, at least in one aspect of the relationship. And so far I don't think I identified that in their case, you know. I mean they all have, always their suits are different for different things. Okay, so Venus, what they get fulfilled with, I already talked about her. And him, yeah, he gets fulfilled by, this is the yogi card, the 9 of spades, like by being by himself, working on his self-development, you know. And she's more like, she has a more like Saturnian quality and intellectual quality to it. So I guess this is like one of the things that are not quite compatible. And let's see where the Venus is. His Venus is in the 9 of clubs, and hers is in the 3 of spades. Yeah, so here the Venus card and the Venus planet, there's a problem, because Venus is romance and also what we get fulfilled with. So a bit different, you know. And also, since they're both black cards, they would be like competitive in that romance department. So I guess this is where one of the reasons for their breakup resides, you know. Also, like in his Venus card, he has the second cusp of like finances, and she has the third cusp. So, and the planet, yeah, yeah. Yeah, aces of spades in general, they're more like solitary people. Like if you look at the quadrations, they get lots of kings. They will sacrifice a lot throughout their lives, you know. And yeah, they're more solitary persons. Okay, let's look. Okay, at the Saturn card, the last card. Here, it's again like the same suit, so both passive. If you have like a bad Saturn card, you're not really good in times of crisis. So maybe in times of crisis, they were both more passive and they couldn't work it out. And for the Saturn as a planet, for him it's here. Also a heart as I was saying, very sentimental. And for her, it's here. So clubs, yeah. So two of the main issues that I identified is like the Venus card compatibility, and the Venus as a planet, it's competitive since it's both black but not compatible suits, and also that the fact that they don't have any cards or any planet falling in the same suit, so that they can feel like this familiarity with each other, you know. Okay, now that we talked about Orlando, let's put him to the side and let's see her current spouse, which is Ivan Spiegel, which is the founder of the social network Snapchat. Like, he's born in 1990 and he's like a billionaire, so no wonder his birth card is a king of diamonds, right? Because diamonds are finances and he is a king of finances. I want to look just for a second at his okay, so look, his soul planet is Saturn and her spouse planet was Saturn, so right off the bat. Yeah, we can see that here. His spouse planet is Mars and her soul planet is in Aries. The sun is in Aries, I think. So an exalted sun with Mars qualities, it's lorded by Mars. So yeah, we can see how they can connect this to this level better. He also has moon in Scorpio, like Orlando did. So the Vasya, the magnetic attraction between their moon nakshatras is also there. He's got an exalted Jupiter, like she has in the Navamsha, so that's great. Venus with Mercury in the fourth, that's also great. Venus gets like full Dikbala in its own sign with its friend Mercury, and Venus and Mercury are like Lakshmi and Vishnu together. They're like prosperity and, you know, great for communication skills, and like he owns a social media network. So yeah, I love looking at these things. Oh, and he also has Saturn on the Lagna. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at his male factors. His Lagna, we already said it's with Saturn, but I know it's a malefic, but it's in its own sign. Look at his chart. He's got like one planet in Mula Trikona, Mars, Jupiter exalted, Venus in own sign, Saturn in own sign. Like, moon is the worst dignified enemy sign, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, it's a little bad because moon in Scorpio, it's close to its debilitation, so it could make him a bit like not being empathic towards women, but still with this Venus, it compensates for this moon with low Dikbala, and so yeah, I think this is a nice guy. Okay, Saturn in its own sign in the Lagna. I know it's an Ashubha, so inauspicious. Let's look at his yoga score. I'm curious. Ooh, that's unexpected. So although Saturn is its unknown sign, it has like 0 good points and has like 30 negative yoga points. That's unexpected. Anyway, let's go back to his relationship capacity. He's got in the 10th cusp, he's got the moon in Scorpio, still good. It's okay. It's not so bad. Let's see, the moon a malefic? No, the moon is a benefic. So, and let's look at his sun. His sun is in Gemini. It's okay. It's an okay sun. It's in the fifth. It's in a trine. Yeah, it doesn't get any bad aspects. So I see no problems with that. Let's look at his cards. Okay, so Ace and King of diamonds, I think they can do a lot together because Ace is innovative and the King, so the Ace is in the beginning and the King is at the end of the cycle. So he's got all the know-how, all the experience, and she's got the innovation and the enthusiasm. So I think they can do great things together. Their underlying cards, I didn't talk about that, but these are the underlying cards, things they're comfortable with, like sort of like a K2 quality, things that you're familiar with. And so she's got a 2 of diamonds and he's got a 3 of clubs, so they're like sequential, and they're also the most attracted magnetic suits. So I think that's great. Maybe they have some past life connection, who knows. And also, like their future cards, her future is like an Ace of Hearts, which is like a new love, like a feeling of whatever feeling, but it's a strong feeling, so it's just feeling. And for him is the 7 of Spades, so like overcoming limitations, overcoming victimization, you know. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else. What else? The Sun card, not so great because, you know, I told you the same. They're both red cards, but at the same time, like the 6, the Queen is 4, 5, 6, and this is a 6, so it's a bit compatible. It's not bad. He's got K2 in the Sun card. K2 in the Sun card. That makes him like a bit disappointed, like, and self-doubting, like very, very deep inside himself. So yeah, he's into emotional fulfillment. His life is all about that. This is the best worldly emotional fulfillment you can have. And she's all about being a good manager of finances, and I think they can work it out with her son in the 3 of clubs and his son is in the Jack of Spades. Okay, on the one hand it's a bit competitive since it's both black suits, so it's a bit competitive, but at the same time the Jack is encompassing the 3, so yeah, it's a bit competitive, but they can work it out, hopefully. The Moon card, okay, different colors and sequential, that's good. And his moon is in the 2 of diamonds. 2s and 5s, not so stellar. So yeah, half is okay, half is like red cards is not so great. Let's look at this Mars card. So Mars is how they deal with very stressful situations of crises, and also and also how they deal with intimacy. What is their intimacy like? And yeah, 2 of diamonds is not a great card to have under Mars, but luckily for him, he's got the Mars here to cancel this bad effect, so he makes it work. He obstructs the obstructions to his getting together with his finances, and also he's got Moon and Mars here, you know. and that's a combination for wealth. And it's with the third cusp, that's like technical stuff. And yeah, he's a programmer, of course. He's got also like Pluto here and the 10th cusp. So the 10th cusp is a bit because so maybe at some point like he will have some financial problems, because you see this money combination and money card will associated with like public reputation and with Pluto, which is like the most ego bashing card. So maybe at some point he'll get some I don't know, some problems with that, but I think he'll make it work with Mars here and with the third cusp. It also has like a martial quality. Yeah. Yeah, for her the Mars planet is so her Mars is very intellectually oriented, and his is more financially like value oriented. But yeah, I think they can make it work because it's still diamonds and clubs. That's okay. Okay, let's look. Okay, this is a great compatibility for Mercury because, as I was saying, Jack encompasses 1, 2, 3, and she's got a 3, the same suit. I'm so happy they have this spade where they can be comfortable with one another. And yeah, they're how are they comfortable with friendship? Like more like by being solitary, by being alone, right? They like to be alone more, so that's good. Yeah. Um, the Mercury, the planet, for him, it's in the a great Venus card, which is like the fulfillment, the financial fulfillment. 6 in a Venus card, which is 6 is great, and with the Venus card, so he's got the 666 here for all the Illuminati watchers. And she's got the Mercury. Where is your Mercury, Miranda? It's in the 7. It's great. Diamonds and clubs, great. 6 and 7, sequential, they learn from each other, great. Okay? Oh, and it's also funny now I noticed that they both have Pluto with their 10th cusp and Mars. So they both have Mars with the 10th cusp and Pluto. So an intense quality to both of them that you wouldn't think like behind their cute smiles, but they have like something intense about them. The Jupiter card, another sequence, 8 and 9. This time clubs and hearts, so he is more Jupiter. I mean, an 8 under the Jupiter card is more difficult because yeah, 8 is the Rahu card, and like normally we get to benefit from the Rahu cards after the Rahu maturation, so in the late 30s. Now that's in the 40s. And a native, that's a very intellectual card. It can be like a spiritual teacher card. This is a fixed card, and yeah, but since it's under Jupiter, this can be averted. So maybe with his Snapchat, maybe he wanted to do something more, I don't know, intellectually worthwhile, but Snapchat, I know it's something that's not so, I don't know if in many years we'll look back and we'll say, oh my God, Snapchat was so valuable spiritually to us, you know. So maybe that's it, because it's also like the 11th cusp here of gains. And Jupiter, the planet for him, it's, where are you? Oh, it's another club. So his Jupiter, his way of looking at the broader life goals and looking at children and that wealth is more intellectual, right? And it's in the moon card. Did I talk about the moon card? Yes, I did. Yeah, which is, he's got Jupiter in the moon card, exalted, like with the 7th cusp. Come on. This is great. Okay, so I'm very happy for them. I don't know, I'm happy that they found each other. Yeah, it's great. So he's a clubby Jupiterian person, and she's like, Jupiter wise, she's a heartsy. It's a bit of a struggle. So yeah, they are sequential, and that's good, but still the heart is more sentimental, and the clubs, like Orlando also had clubs, if I remember correctly, under the Jupiter card. So the way they approach children, like children issues, I hope they don't have big falling outs because of that. Yeah. Okay. I talked about the Venus card and the Saturn card. Again, sequential numbers 4 and 5. 4 is normally bad, but since Saturn is here, it's canceling it out. Unfortunately, like Rahu and Saturn, but this, at least it's like shared lordship, it's not in the same Rashi. And with the Lagna, this is a bit of a difficult card, so he is always struggling about being secure with himself. So even if he's got like the money and the love, he's like struggling with being secure with himself, and there's some separation because of it, Saturn and Rahu, but also there's his individuality shining through, and there's also Neptune, which is, oh, right. Now that I looked at Neptune, Neptune is like how you connect to others more deeply, and her birth card is his Neptune card, and I think that's great because that way they can like connect telepathically, like they don't even have to talk. I think he has a deeper understanding of her, and I think that's very nice. The Saturn planet here, yeah, the Saturn planet also a bit, I mean, they're sequential where Saturn is placed, but they're a bit in a competition since it's like yeah, since it's like clubs and spades. Well, no compatibility charts are perfect. I mean, there is no such thing, but I think she relates to him better because I like the fact they have this Mercury card, which leads to their friendship style, which is very similar since Jack encompasses the 3 of spades. And also, what else did I like? Oh, I like the fact they have so many sequential cards, and I like the fact that her Dharaka is Saturn, and his Atmakaraka is Saturn and on the Lagna. And she has a Jupiter in Cancer in the Navamsha, and he's got a Jupiter in Cancer in the Rashi. So, yeah, and I didn't, yeah, the paths of these persons are also like sequential. The 8th is a Rahu card. So, yeah, oh, sorry, this is Ketu. He's got like a Rahu quality to his path, like of self-development and being on his own journey and not seeking external validation. And yeah, the planet Rahu is in a 10 of hearts. So like fulfilling the cycle of love, of all the love. And yeah, I didn't look at her and Orlando's other cards, so I just look at the ecliptic and the 7 cards. Yeah, this is good. The 10 and the queens are good together. The jack and the 10, I think they're also good. They're sequential. K2 card, I still think they have like the past life compatibility because K2 is also past life, and they're sequential and they're attracted to each other like diamonds and clubs, and look, diamonds and clubs. So I still think that. So yeah, yeah, her outer planet placements are more masculine and his are more feminine, but they work together. Hearts, spades, diamonds, clubs, and diamonds, clubs, king, queen. ace 2, ace 7. Aces go well with any card. So yeah, I think they are more compatible, her and even though she's 7 years older than him. That doesn't matter. So yeah, that's about it. This turned out to be like a much longer video than I expected, but so much to say. Okay. See you. Stop share and stop recording.